Hello, everyone. Welcome to another great day of education. Today, we will be reading Bronx Masquerade by Nikki Grimes. But first, we want to go into our question of the day, which is, what are some of your life goals? Do you think what you learn in school will help you achieve them? Why or why not? And we're going to answer that question right after we watch our video of the day. And here it is. Let me share my screen with you. All right, keep that question in mind right there. What are some of your life goals? Do you think what you learn in school will help you achieve them? Why or why not? Think about that while we're watching this video.
One of my favorite stories is about a man. Now, this man is walking down a path and finds an egg, an eagle's egg. He takes this egg and puts it into the nest of a backyard hen. Pretty soon, the eagle hatches with the chicks and grows up with them. Now, all his life, that eagle did what the chickens did. He would poke around in the dirt looking for worms and insects to eat. He would fly a few feet into the air like chickens do, and he'd cluck around. And as time passed, that eagle, he grew very old. And one day, he saw something above him. This thing, it glided gracefully and majestically through the clouds. "What's that?" the eagle says. "Oh, that's an eagle," one chicken responds. "He is the king of all birds, the master of the skies. But we belong to the ground because we are just chickens. Don't worry about him. You will never be that." And that eagle lived and died a chicken because that is what he thought he was. This new year, it's time to take flight. You and me both know that you don't belong where you are right now. You don't belong with some of the people you're around right now. You got no business doing what you're doing right now. You're being a chicken when you were born an eagle. So now the question is, how long is it gonna take to make the decision, to make the shift, and show some courage, show some character? That word character is funny. You know, character is the ability to carry out a resolution long after the excitement of the moment has passed. I'm gonna say that again because some of y'all might have missed it. Character is the ability to carry out a resolution long after the excitement of the moment has passed. Are you gonna say you wanna do something, do it for 2 weeks and then quit like you did last year, like you did the year before last? You say you wanna lose weight, get in shape, get your business off the ground, get closer to God, and then turn around and party, get lit, drink alcohol, eat like crap, and continue to live below who you were created to be, thereby committing the greatest sin known to man? No. I'm not religious, but I'm gonna take you to church. Watch this. See the word sin. Watch this. See the word sin comes from the Greek word sin used in archery. It means to miss your mark. The greatest sin in life is to miss your mark, to not be who you were created to be a chicken instead of an eagle. I don't know if you guys remember growing up the story of Icarus. You know, a lot of people remember Icarus being this guy who he had the wings made out of wax. His father cautioned him not to fly too high or the sun will melt your wings, and what happened? It was Icarus's arrogance that caused him to fly too high. Sun melted his wings and boom, fell to the earth dead. But that's not the full story. No. You didn't know there was more to it? See, Icarus's father also cautioned him against flying too low. He said, don't fly too close to the sea, or your weight will cause you to plummet into the water. See, we all know not to be too arrogant. Well, most of us. But how many of us know not to be too humble, too meek, too timid, too shy, too safe? It is said that the greatest tragedy in life is not that people aim too high and miss. It is that people aim too low and hit. I see a lot of people on Facebook, all everywhere, Instagram, talking about the friend zone. Laughing. He's in the friend zone, the hover hand. But I don't see too many people making jokes about the other zone, the comfort zone. Ain't no memes about that. Ain't no jokes. You know why? Because a lot of y'all are in there. Well, in this new year, let's step out of our comfort zone. Fortune favors the bold. And it is the cave that you fear, that will hold the treasure that you desire. Forget a New Year's resolution. Forget it. Let's make a new life resolution to be fully and authentically you. I don't know what dream you have, but I can guarantee you that there's somebody in the hospital right now praying, begging God to have the opportunity that you have right now. Don't blow it. It is time. It is time to go from mediocre to meteoric. It is time to go from being counted out to being counted on. It is time to fly like the eagle you are. Or do you want to continue to cluck with the chickens?
All right, Eagles, let's fly like the eagles that we are. And let's answer the question of the day. And let me pull that up for you. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Go away, screen. Go away, go away. Thank you. What are some of your life goals? Do you think what you learn in school will help you achieve them? Why or why not? And I can tell you from experience what he just said about there's somebody in the hospital praying to be in the position that you are right now. That is very true. I know for sure because I was once in that place. I was once in the hospital just wanting the simple pleasures that everybody else is taking for granted. Being able to walk. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't see. I was just wanting those simple things that people are taking for granted. And once I got all those faculties back, I just have been accomplishing goal after goal, and like no days am I taking for granted any of the, especially the simple things, but even my higher goals. I'm looking to achieve all kinds of different things since that point, and I'm working steadily toward them. So what are some of your goals, and what are some of the things you're working towards? So pause the video for about 5 minutes and take a moment to answer the life and lit question of the day. Don't forget to use the racist method, and I have it right below the question here. And you can just fill in the blanks. If you're feeling comfortable, you can write it out yourself without using my example there. But if you're not as comfortable with the racist method yet, feel free to fill in the blanks, just as you have them there. From my life goal is blank. From my situation, I learned blank about school maybe. In the excerpt or video, the author said, what stood out to you? What did the author say that stood out to you? And from your personal experience, I understand or infer that the author meant, what do you think he meant about that thing that stood out to you? For example, when I did blank, tell me, what did you do and what goal have you accomplished in that area? Take about 5 minutes, write your goal, and then we'll go into the story. Okay, welcome back. We will go ahead and go directly into Bronx Masquerade. Pull up the link from Google Classroom and read along with me. Bronx Masquerade by Nikki Grimes. I will be reading to start from Wesley Bad Boy Boone's perspective. I ain't particular about doing homework. You understand? My teachers practically fight whenever I turn something in. Matter of fact, I probably got the longest list of excuses for missing homework of anyone alive, except for my homie Tyrone. He tries to act like he's not even interested in school, like there's no point in studying hard or dreaming about tomorrow or bothering to graduate. He's got his reasons. I keep on him about going to school though, saying I need the company. Besides, I tell him, if he drops out and gets a job, he won't have any time to work on his songs. That always gets to him. Tyrone might convince everybody else that he's all through with his dreaming, but I know he wants to be a big hip hop star. He's just afraid he won't live long enough to do it. Me, I hardly ever think about checking out. I'm more worried about figuring what I want to do if I do live. Anyway, I haven't had to drag Tyrone off to school lately or make excuses for not having my homework done because I've been doing it. It's the Harlem Renaissance stuff that's got us both going. We spent a month reading poetry from the Harlem Renaissance in our English class. Then Mr. Ward, that's our teacher, he asked us to write an essay about it. Make sense to you? Me neither. I mean, what's the point of studying poetry and then writing essays? So I wrote a bunch of poems instead. They weren't too shabby, considering I only done a few rap pieces before. My favorite was about Langston Hughes. How was I to know Teach would ask me to read it out loud? But I did. Knees knocking like a skeleton on Halloween, embarrassment bleaching my black cheeks red, eyes stapled to the page in front of me. But I did it. I read my poem. Guess what? Nobody laughed. In fact, everybody thought it was cool. By the time I got back to my seat, other kids were shouting out, "Mr. Ward, I got a poem too. Can I bring it to read?" Cheech cocked his head to the side like he was hearing something nobody else did. "How many people here have poems they'd like to read?" he asked. 3 hands shot up. Mr. Ward rubbed his chin for a minute. "Okay," he said, "bring them with you tomorrow." After class, Teach came over to my desk. "Great poem," said Mr. Ward, "but I still expect to see an essay from you. I'll give you another week. So much for creative expression." Long live Langston Hughes. Long live Langston by Wesley Boone. This is his poem. Trumpeter of Linnets and Seventh, through Jesse B. Simple, you simple celebrated blues and bebop, and being black before it was considered hip. You dipped into the muddy waters of the Harlem River and shouted, "Taste and see." That we black folk be good at fanning hope and stoking the fires of dreams deferred. You made sure your world heard about the beauty of maple sugar children and the artfully tattooed backs of black. Sailor venturing out to foreign places, your sweet flypaper of life led us pace the Apollo and on through 125th and all the other Harlem streets you knew we liked. The black of your hand, you were a Pied Piper brown brother man, and with poetry your flute, it's my honor and pleasure to salute you, a true Renaissance man of Harlem. Now reading from the perspective of Tyrone Biddings. That's his friend. School ain't nothing but a joke. My moms don't want to hear that. But if it weren't for Wesley and my other homies, I wouldn't even be here, all right? These white folk talking about some future. telling me I need to be planning for some future like I got one. And Raynard agreeing like he's smart enough to know. From what I hear, that boy can't hardly read. Anyway, it's them white folk that get me with this future mess. Like Steve, all hopped up about working on Broadway and telling me I should think about it. Getting with it too. Asked me if I ever thought about writing plays. Fool, what kind of question is that? I said, he threw his hand up and backed off a few steps. All I'm saying, you're a walking drummer, man. You got that down pat. So maybe you should think about putting it on paper. When that boy dyed his hair, I believe some of that bleach just seeped right into his brain. I grind my teeth and lower my voice. Boy, get out of my face. I tell him. He finally gets the message and splits. I'm ticked off that he even got me thinking about such nonsense as Broadway. White folk. Who they think they kidding? They might as well go blow smoke up somebody else's you know what. Because a black man's got no chance in this country. I'd be lucky if I make it to 21 with all these fools running around with AK-47s. Here I am, one of the few kids I know whose daddy didn't skip out on him, and he didn't even make it to 30. He was doing okay till he got blown away on Saturday. Bam! Another statistic in a long line of drive-bys. Life is cold future. What I get is right now, right here, spending time with my homies. Wish there was some future to talk about. I could use me some future. I'm just about ready to sleep off the whole year when this teacher starts talking about poetry. And he rattles off a poem by some white guy named Dylan Thomas. That sounds an awful lot like rap. Now I know me some rap, and I started thinking I should show Mr. Ward what rap is really about. So I tell him I've got a poem I'd like to read. Bring it on Friday, he says. As a matter of fact, from now on, I'll leave time for poetry readings at the end of every month. We'll call them Open Mic Fridays. Next thing I know, I'm digging my old rap poems out of my dresser drawer and bringing them to school. I'm thinking it can't hurt to share them, even if there's no chance I ever get to be a songwriter. After all, it's the one thing I could see myself doing if there really was a future. And I'm thinking that maybe there could be if I wanted it bad enough. And all of a sudden, I realize I do. Open Mic Attendance by Tyrone Biddix. We are all here. Leslie and Bad Boy, Lupe and Raul. Here, and here. Dear Mr. Ward, with his words and Wardettes. Let's have a show of hands today. Is Portia here? Is DeAndre here? Where is Sheila? It's me, Tyrone, up here all alone, rapping into a microphone, cause I've got something to say. MTV is here, Mr. and Murray. Space walks are here. Terrorism is here, lurking at the bus stop. Can't hop in the subway without thinking of Tokyo. All we know, poison gas doesn't not discriminate. It's too late to worry about innocence since fear is here. Why is it a weekend visit to your local Mickey D's may be deadly? Why hasn't somebody seen the death? Don't hold your breath, waiting. Still, you can't chill and celebrate all that's great about life music, and the tick, tick, tick of time, which is equal parts yours and mine, to make up the world what we will. But first, say no coke. Say no to coke and smoke. Say no to police brutality and causing fatality. Say no to race hate. Don't underestimate the power of love. But most of all, take 2 poems and call me in the morning. The courage hoop perspective. I'm not in the mood for Tyrone. Sorry, baby, give me some love and routine. So when I see him in the hall, I storm past it and he's not even there. Eventually, he'll figure out why. I come to school sporting shades and a Johnny print across my left cheek. Johnny being the name of the idiot who smacked me last night. Naturally, Portia is the first person who noticed my new tattoo. She talks straight up to me. She walks straight up to me and says, "You deserve better, girlfriend, and you know it." No. Hello? How are you? Just, you deserve better. Then she turns away and walks into the classroom. Typical Portia. No nonsense. That's why we get along. Then here comes Sheila Gambaroni. The minute she sees me, she demands to know the name of the guy who gave me my shiner, like she's gonna send her brothers after him or something. I keep his name to myself, just in case. She commences to call the guy everything but a child of God, which makes her feel better. I think, then gives me a hug and says she'll see me later. Sheila's a bit over the top with this sister act, as if she's trying to make up for being white, but she means well. I can do without some of the other girls who stare at me, though. I know they're just looking for something to talk about, so I rip off my sunglasses, let them get a better look. Might as well stare all you want. This is the first and last time you ever see me like this. Of course, that's what they all say. Nobody knows that better than me. My sister's boyfriend have been beating on her for years. I made up my mind a long time ago. I'm not having none of that. Last night, I tried telling this to Johnny, who seemed to be hard of hearing. He brought me home from a movie. He came in for a while, got comfortable since mom was working overtime, and we had the apartment to ourselves. We locked lips for a few minutes. Next thing I know, he's fingering my shirt buttons. I push him away, gently at first. I think we better slow down, I say. No, no, he says, voice all husky. It's just getting good. This time, his hand shoots up my shirt. Bad move. I jump off the sofa like it's on fire. Maybe it's time for you to go. He grabbed my skirt and I tried pulling me back down, which is right about when I hauled off and smacked him. He leaped up and smacked me back. My jaw dropped from shock and I looked in his eyes and saw my sister's reflection. I turned away, strolled to the door, unlocked it, and held it open for him. I hope you enjoy yourself, I said, because that's the last time you'll ever lay a hand on me. Now get out. He actually looked like he was studying on staying. So I stepped out into the hall and screamed at the top of my lungs. I said, get out. Fearing trouble, he left. Now I've got this ugly tattoo on my cheek. I thought about skipping school today, but I hate to miss English. Besides, the bruise is temporary and so is the pain. Still, I'd rather not have kids gawking at me all period. So I park myself in the back of the room and wait for Mr. Ward to call our English class to attention. Mr. Ward is funny. Sometimes he asks us questions with no warning and tells us to answer quick without stopping to think about it. The truth is, I always write on the tip of your tongue, he says. It's the fabrications that take a lot of time. Yesterday, he asked us, what do you know? Yesterday, I said my name, but today would be different. I missed mine. Okay, where are we? Right here. What do you know? Yesterday I said my name, but today would be different. Today I tell him a woman ain't no punching bag. That's what I know. Open Mic, Blues Love by Shankara Troop. Shankara reads her poem. A midnight thirst sent me padding to the kitchen for a jelly jar of water and an accidental run-in with my sister. She tiptoed in, late and limping, her cheek raw as red-brown meat. I caught a quick glance in the chilly glow of the refrigerator before she had a chance to hide the latest souvenir. Her boyfriend gave her a bruise easily, is one of the lies she sprinkles like sugar. But I'm 15, not brainless. Besides, I knew the truth at 10. He'll never do it again, she swears. But he will because she let him. Now me, I've got no use for lame excuses or imitation love that packs a punch. Tyrone. My pops used to hit my moms like that. When I was little, I used to hide under my bed and cry, scared he was coming for me next. Damn, I ain't thought about that in years. He could do that. Pops, I don't get it. Is that why he hung around? So he have somebody smaller than him to beat up on? I don't even want to go there. I'm just glad he finally stopped drinking and cleaned up his act before he checked out. It gave us a chance to have some good times together. Shankara was the third one up today. Her stuff was so deep, nobody wanted to follow her. There weren't but two more people planning to read anyway, including me. We both decided to bag it till the next open mic. Meanwhile, I'm going to be busy writing me a rap about dudes beating on women. I'll call it Little Men, because that's what they are. Okay, that is all we will read for today. And I want you guys to go to your Q cup analysis and do the first five paragraphs of the story. Do an analysis of the first 5 paragraphs. 3 questions that you have. Go to the C, circle or write unknown words and define them. U, underline the main message or theme or topic of each paragraph. Just give me 3. And P, paraphrase each paragraph in 2 to 3 sentences. 3 paragraphs to paraphrase. And write a summary using the RACE method. Factual summary. What you learned about today that you didn't know about before class. What new vocabulary, concepts, or ideas did you discover? And you can use the fill in the blank, or if you're more comfortable, you can use your own format. But make sure you're using the RACE method. We will read some more tomorrow.